babe, you have wasted way too much of your time writing the same affirmation in your journal over and over and over again, maybe 3 large trees worth of paper, to not be getting consistent manifestation results. You have wasted way too much energy trying to wrestle down every single one of your negative thoughts and change it to a positive thought and think about your manifestations and focus on the positive and focus on the future to not be getting consistent manifestation results. I know how you feel. I have done this. I have spent probably months of my life standing in front of a mirror, telling myself how rich and beautiful I am, and trying to think positive and change my thoughts. And oh my God, if I have a negative thought, then it's going to manifest. And oh my God, if I don't think positive, well, what's wrong with me for not, you know how much time I've wasted doing that? So much time. And the purpose of this video is mostly to show you that you don't need to use the law of assumption to manifest. You don't need to use the law of attraction to manifest. You don't need to do affirmations to manifest. There's a different way. It's a lot more practical and easier to understand. It ends up doing the same thing that affirmations would do, except for a fraction of the time, and it's way more fun and less fucking boring. And there's a way for you to interact with the, yes, true laws of the universe, like the law of attraction, without it feeling completely forced and like you're fighting with yourself every single day to get there. If you don't yet know me, my name's Jackie, aka Hoodwinkler. I'm a manifestation teacher and expert. I have over 200 students that I teach how to manifest. I'll talk a little bit more about how to work with me later in the video, because I want to get onto the point. So I want you to see if this resonates. Okay, you've been doing affirmations. They feel really frustrating. Every single time that you're looking in the mirror to do this, or you're writing them down in your journal, you're like, is this even working? Is this going to work? Maybe no matter how long you have been doing them, they still feel really cringy. Like they sort of turn your stomach a little bit, and you feel like you're just trying to be something that you're not. Okay, I've been there. I'll talk about that. And then for the LOAs, law of attraction and law of assumption. Law of attraction basically states, if you don't already know, that what you focus on is attracted into your life. The law of assumption is basically believing that your manifestation and what you're trying to call into your life already exists, and just getting into a positive vibration and frequency so that you can attract it. So when you're trying to do those things, they feel, first of all, really hard to apply. Like, how do you even get into a positive frequency? Or you feel like you can't control your thoughts, or you have negative thoughts and then you start to worry if they're going to manifest into your reality, and then it becomes an internal fight where one side of you is like, oh, think positive, and the other side of you is like, I can't. Or you kind of conceptually know that your manifestation could hypothetically happen, but it's really hard to feel like it exists, feel like you're so rich when you're getting a bill in the mail that you can't pay for. And it's just really hard to access that vibration emotionally so that you can call it into your reality. If any of that seems like woo-woo and vague, I'm here to tell you that it's not that you're misunderstanding. It's not that you are stupid or that you can't have your manifestations. You absolutely are intelligent. You can't have your manifestations. And it's pretty unclear. Those are unclear terms. In the beginning of my manifestation journey, I was told to do affirmations, by my mom, who's really spiritual. If I was like, Mommy, I hate myself. I'm such a fucking piece of shit. She was like, just look in the mirror and say, I love you. I love you. Or she would always be like, when I'm scared, I just tell myself I'm safe. I'm safe, over and over again. And I would try it, mid panic, and I'd be like, I'm safe. I'm safe. And it didn't fucking work. Like, I was like, I do not feel safe right now. I do not love myself. I do not feel beautiful. That's what would come up when I was doing these things in the mirror. I would just feel so cringy. I would feel like I was trying to be something that I knew I wasn't. I'm going to explain why you feel this way in a second if you're resonating. And for the law of attraction, that one became a big problem for me because it felt, first of all, really hard to apply. Like, I wasn't really sure even what that meant. I could, again, conceptualize it in my mind, but as far as how to actually do it, like step by step, that was really confusing for me. And then I started having anxiety and thinking a lot, and I started getting intrusive thoughts. And after a lifetime of hearing, oh, what you focus on is attracted into your life because of the law of attraction, I was like, okay, great. So I'm having intrusive thoughts. They're really horrific. I can't control them. So, and I have them like, I don't know, probably 6 to 8 hours a day. So I'm going to manifest that. It felt frustrated. It made me feel a little bit cursed or broken. And I was just pissed that I was seeing all these like clean girl Instagram vibe people who were like so high vibe, and they were like, just think it and believe it. And I was like, bitch, respectfully, like I love women, but like, girl, I don't know how the fuck you did what you're doing, but I just don't think that we can relate. Like, I don't think that we're coming at this from like a level playing field, you know? Like, I'm traumatized. Like, I remember the first time, because my mom, one of the reasons that I ended up as a manifestation teacher in my life is because my mom was very spiritual and very into manifestation, but she learned from the classics, you know, like Esther Hicks, Abraham Hicks, Neville Goddard, Eckhart Tolle, that type of thing that really focuses on thinking positive and noticing the mind, and like your thoughts create your reality. So she always used to tell me, what goes into a mind comes out in a life. What you focus on and think about, you attract. So I remember at like 10 or 11, I was at the zoo with my friend, and there was like an attraction where they had cable cars that there's like those little floating car things that take you from the bottom of the mountain to the top of the mountain. And we were waiting in line to go on them, and I remember my friend was like, oh my god, what if it falls, what if it falls? And I turned to her and I was like, girl, you know, I'm like 10, I was like, girl, don't think that, because the more you think that, the more it's gonna fall. Like, you're probably gonna manifest that, which is like the least helpful advice that I could possibly think about giving someone who's in any type of distress. And that's kind of like the ask that most people interpret the law of attraction as. Is like, the law of attraction is asking you to like, don't think about the cable car falling, because the more you think about that, the more it's going to happen. Don't think about how stressed you are to pay your bills, because the more that you think about it, the less you're going to be able to pay them. Don't think about how anxious you are when you're in social situations, because the more you think about it, the more it's gonna happen. And that's so unhelpful for anybody who has been like, who like struggles with the mind, which after working with like over 300 people, I think most people do. So basically when I hit like 21, I hit like a rock bottom where I had been doing lots of self-work for just like years of my life. I'd been in therapy since I was like 8. I had journaled till the fucking cows came home 600 times. I had done Reiki and biofield tuning, and I had gone to spiritual things, and I had read spiritual books, and I'd done affirmations, and I knew about manifestation, and my life was still in shambles. Like, I still could not get my shit together. I was an alcoholic. I was dating like the worst fucking most incompatible partners, and that's me being kind. Like, that's me saying it kindly, that you could ever imagine. I had no direction, extremely low self-worth, you know, and it was just like, okay, so I've been doing these fucking affirmations for like years, you know, on and off, and I'm just not getting any results. Like, my life looks like a fucking flaming hot pile of shit, to be frank. So I started being really intentional. I started learning from this like crazy teacher, spiritual teacher in Mexico. I started reading a lot of books. I started being really intentional about what was working in my life and what wasn't working in my life. I started learning about manifestation and taking courses, and I changed everything that I was doing, which included stopping learning about the 12 laws of the universe and lucky girl syndrome, which wasn't really a thing back then, but like that vibe of stuff, and manifestation methods and affirmations. And I stopped doing all of that, and I started doing something else. which I'll talk about in a second. So before I get into like what I started doing, I want to break down why these methods might not be working for you. First of all, it's not that these methods don't work, period. It's just that some people, they, in my opinion, have a more regulated nervous system. Maybe they grew up with a deeper understanding of what those laws are. Maybe they didn't have as much trauma as you. Like there's a plethora of reasons why affirmations and following the law of assumption, the law of attraction might be much fucking easier for one person than it is for you. So it doesn't mean that you're broken. It's just you guys are approaching it from like a different spot on the playing field. It's sort of like a blind spot when you're driving a car. For other cars on the road, they can totally see that car that is coming up behind you in your blind spot, but for you, you can't. So if you have been doing affirmations and trying to follow these laws and you're not getting results, it's because it's in your blind spot. Like it's just simply not accessible for you. But that's okay because there are other things that are accessible for you. So it's just a matter of approaching manifestation at the correct angle, I would like to say. So the biggest reason why these methods might not be working for you, first and foremost, is that you have no frame of reference. For example, you are standing in front of the mirror, going into the mirror. You're standing in front of the mirror, and you're saying, I am beautiful, with the intention of feeling more beautiful or becoming more beautiful. But you've never felt beautiful ever before in your life. You've never even conceptualized what it must feel like to feel beautiful. You've never felt that. So you have no frame of reference for what you're actually trying to cultivate because you've never experienced it before. Or maybe to you, even the word beautiful doesn't fit. Maybe to you, the word beautiful is associated with being blonde and being 99 pounds, and you're like a curvy woman with dark curly hair, and it's not hitting. Maybe you're trying to believe that your manifestation of your most perfect soulmate is already here, but how are you supposed to believe that a soulmate is coming to you when all you've ever experienced or known is abusive relationships? Your parents were in an abusive, toxic relationship. You've only ever attracted toxic partners. Like, you don't even know and can't even begin to conceptualize what a healthy soulmate-like partnership would feel like. So no matter how much you're like, I believe, your brain is basically like, yeah, I believe what? Like what? What are we even talking about? I don't know. The other thing that I truly stand by for why it's so hard to think positive is like, first of all, we have a different understanding that there are people who are neurodivergent and your brains fire in a different way than other people. Maybe thinking positively is not super in the cards for you because you are still stuck in a trauma response and you've experienced things in your childhood that were extremely unsupportive and you just didn't have the tools or the care or the disposition to be able to get yourself out of a trauma response and think positively most of the time. Like, you're just gonna see the world through the lens of like, I'm scared and I'm unsafe. And thinking positively and redirecting your thoughts requires two things: mindfulness and an attention span. And first of all, most of us don't learn the practice of mindfulness, which is the practice of being able to actually be self-aware and observe your thoughts as an unbiased watcher. Like, mindfulness is a skill that takes practice to cultivate. The way that you do this is through mindfulness meditation, and it's for that reason why when you tell someone like, oh, I'm depressed, and then they're spiritual and they're like, just meditate, what they're saying is actually right, but it's just something that like is not conceptual, and it takes like a lot of practice, so it doesn't really apply to you right now in the moment. The other thing is having mindfulness and redirecting your thoughts requires that you have an attention span. Guess who doesn't have a fucking attention span anymore because of phones? People. So there are other ways other than trying to like wrestle the monkey mind back into place constantly. It's not your fault. You're not broken. There's like a really logical reason why affirmations and the law of attraction and the law of assumption and just believing it doesn't work for you. So here's what I started doing that did work for me. I started doing what I now teach, which is called the 9 keys of manifestation. I like to visualize the 9 keys and conceptualize them as a wheel because they're not 9 steps. It's not like step 1, take a deep breath, step 2, light a candle. The 9 keys of manifestation are like this. Before we go any further, hi, I'm Jackie, manifestation teacher and expert. I teach an effective 9-step manifestation process that actually gets results every single time at an insanely affordable price point because I think that this work should be accessible to literally every single person. So if you've been trying to manifest but you feel like you're constantly caught in a loop of self-doubt, you are questioning your self-worth and disconnected from your true self, and you know that manifestation is real, but you're just not sure what you're doing wrong and why you can't get your dream life like everybody else, I can help. Go to my website, click on the co-creation clubhouse, and you'll see if we're currently enrolling. So it's sort of like a wagon wheel, as you can see here. And on the wheel, there are 9 spokes. And these 9 spokes, this is a spoke, by the way, if you don't know what a spoke is. And these 9 spokes make up a nice big round wheel. And that nice big round wheel turns your life, steers your life in a particular direction. So right now, you are interacting with, or the 9 keys are at play in your life, and they're turning your life in a certain direction. It's just that you're not cognizant of that. So in order to manifest what you want, you have to get in touch with each one of the 9 spokes on this wheel and start to interact with each spoke and sort of polish it up and carve it out so it's more effective, and make sure that it's like in the right place so that it can support this wheel, and that wheel can start turning in the direction of your life that you're actually asking for. So let's just call this the first spoke, is authenticity. And in order to manifest a really fulfilling life, you're going to want and need to get very clear on what it is that you actually want. Not what it is that you think you should want, but what it is that actually you want that would make your life feel really, really fulfilling. Okay? That's first spoke. The next spoke is stating your intentions to the universe and to yourself, because you are the universe. You and God are one and the same. It's not like God's not like a sugar daddy who grants you a little wish. When you state your intentions, this is the process of, okay, so you know what you want. Now you get really, really clear on the details of what it is that you want. The next thing is changing your beliefs. So this spoke of the wheel is what affirmations are trying to do. It's just really ineffective. It takes forever. It's boring as fuck. I'm sorry, affirmations are so fucking boring to me. Like it's not gonna cut it. And it's super dated. Like affirmations are a really dated practice. Even my therapist, she's like on some affirmations, like they're just outdated. The way that I change beliefs is through a process called mind shifts. This is a hypnosis practice that I do in the clubhouse and with all of my students, and I use on myself 3 times a week or less, depending on how good I'm feeling. And introspection and self-reflection that's based on actual psychology that you would learn with a good therapist, and that's what we do in the clubhouse. So this is how you change your beliefs. This is why therapy tends to work if you have a good therapist, is because they are literally helping you change your beliefs. Okay. The next one is finding role models. And this is people who actually show you that what you're asking for is possible in real life. Okay? That would make sense that you would need that, right? The next thing are passing tests, which is the process of not settling for less than what it is that you're manifesting. After that, you can move on to intuition and synchronicity. This is basically just noticing the signs that God is giving you that is pushing you in a direction, like towards something, or pulling you away from something that you tend to maybe be pushed towards in the past that doesn't serve you anymore. After that, we have the spoke of embracing the void. And this is the process of allowing yourself to be without, detaching from your manifestation, allowing yourself to empty your energetic capacity and empty your hands, so to speak, so that God has a place to put your manifestation. After that, we have identity shifting, which is basically what the law of assumption and the law of attraction are trying to do. This is the process of, just like imagine yourself having it and like pretend like you have it and then become that version of yourself and act as if and just be your manifestation. To me, this is actually the least important key out of all 9. This is sort of like for fun. I find it to be the weakest hitting method for manifestation, at least personally. It tends to be the most like superficial feeling, where I'm like, feel like I'm sort of playing instead of actually doing like heavy hitting work where I'm seeing super crazy results like in my real life. And the last key is taking action, taking aligned action, like literal action, which a lot of manifestation stuff tells you don't even need to do, which is so inaccurate. And the people who are like, I manifested this thing overnight without taking any action. Yeah, you did take action. You did the manifestation practice, first of all. You put yourself out there. You took a lot of action without saying that you took action or recognizing it as action, but you're always taking action. So here's the thing. The 9 keys basically has these 9 ways of approaching changing you, which is in the center. And you in the center of this wheel is like the version of you that fully fucking believes without question. I don't want to say without doubt, but like you just fully fucking know that you're on the right path. Your day is filled with purpose. You're living your purpose. You're living your dharma. You are manifesting the life that is meant for you. You know it's coming. You just know it's coming. You know it's there, and then it shows up. So these 9 keys are basically 9 things that you are interacting with right now, or you're kind of lacking, that you don't even realize that's turning your life in a certain direction. So for example, like, say you are really unclear as to what you want and you're not detailed about it. Well, like, of course you're not going to manifest because you don't even know like what direction you're going in, right? Or say you have been like only trying to change your beliefs, but with affirmations, but you haven't been doing any identity shifting, you haven't taken any action. Well, yeah, it would make sense that your manifestation wouldn't come in. So what I like about the 9 keys is it's basically 9 angles. Remember how I talked about the blind spot? It's 9 different angles, like a bird's eye view of all of these different things, I don't want to call them methods, that you can hit to change yourself, to ready yourself to manifest. The issue with most manifestation practices is they're only working with 1 or 2 of the keys. They're only hitting the change your belief key, which is what affirmations do. They're only hitting the identity shifting key. And they're missing out on all other 8 or 7 of them. Here's another thing I love about the 9 keys. They are personal for everyone. So certain keys, depending on your patterning and your authenticity, certain keys are going to slap harder than other keys. You know, for me, clearing space is huge. I tend to manifest really quickly personally when I say no to things, because I had a pattern of being a people pleaser, and I would just be like, yes, 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 anything, I'll take anything. And so for me, the embracing the void key really hits hard. For somebody else, maybe, they have no problem saying no, and that's never been an issue for them, but they have a huge problem getting specific. So that's a key that maybe once they start working with that, that's going to be the heavy hitter for them and make their manifestations come in much faster. So the reason I like the 9 keys is because it's sort of like it's a holistic approach. It's sort of like going to the doctor. You know, I don't know if you guys have ever had an experience with like allopathic medicine, but you go to a doctor and they're just like, okay, I see you have a symptom. We're gonna just like address the one symptom, as opposed to going to a more holistic practitioner who's like, Well, let's address the symptom. Let's get your blood work checked. How are you feeling? What are you eating? Are you exercising? And how's your diet? And how are you feeling about yourself? You know, one of them, you're just focusing on one angle and you might be missing like 30 other things in the background that are super fucking important and they're contributing to that symptom. The 9 keys is the holistic path. It's basically where you're like looking at every single area of your life and how your subconscious works and how your brain changes and how your body changes and your mind changes. And you're looking at it from 9 different angles instead of just one. And you're changing each one of those angles so that it's a given that you end up changing. Before we move on any further, I'm going to do a little commercial break. You know me, I'm Jackie. I introduce myself, manifestation expert, teacher, whatever. If you're new here, subscribe and turn on post notifications and like this video and comment. What I do is I teach struggling manifestors who are really stuck in limiting patterns and tons of self-doubt how to manifest actual results with a replicable system that you can apply again and again to any manifestation. If you'd like to learn from me, I run something called the Co-Creation Clubhouse. You can waitlist for it on my website. I'll have the link below in the description. And in the Clubhouse, that's where I teach you the 9 keys of manifestation in depth. There are no steps out. You'll never need another manifestation resource again. And there's a really tight-knit community of manifestors that you can chat with all day, every day, online, just like you, so you get friendship and community too. The Clubhouse is my magnum opus, and the results from my students speak for themselves. I'll put them here. If you're not ready for that step, that's okay. There's also a free quiz that's going to be linked below. It'll tell you exactly what your biggest manifestation block is, and it takes about a minute and a half if you're quick. Okay, so long story short, once I started applying the 9 keys in my life instead of robotically doing affirmations and feeling like a fucking bozo in the mirror, here's what happened, basically. I felt worthy and excited about my life for the first time ever, instead of trying to convince myself constantly that I was something that I just didn't feel like I was. I manifested 100K on social media, and then I manifested 200K on social media, and then 300K on social media, and then 400K on social media. So I had this like following that I'd really wanted for a long time. I moved to my dream city out of my stepdad's spare bedroom. I had a major glow up. I lost probably 20 or 30 pounds and started dressing way better. I stopped toxic cycles with men and I completely decentered them from my life. I love men, by the way. You're not going to catch me on like the I hate men train. So decentering men does not mean like, ew, men are the thing. Like that's not my vibe. But I did decenter them out of my life. I quit smoking cigarettes. I bought my dream car. I started a business. I ended paycheck to paycheck. And that was just the beginning. Like, fast forward to now, I'm literally with my soulmate. I live in the most beautiful fucking house ever. I have a great community. I moved to my dream town. I live abroad in my dream city once a year. I own a multiple 6-figure business. I'm working with my dream clients. Life is just like great. Of course, I still like have struggles and challenges, but overall my life is like unrecognizable from where it was a few years ago. So, long story short, because I'm going to cut this off basically, but if you want to drop the confusing manifestation bullshit and you want to start getting instant and logical results that actually feel good and make sense, I'm going to give you one thing to stop doing and one thing to start doing. So the biggest thing to stop doing is stop doing affirmations, writing shit in your journal over and over again, and trying to think positive all the time if those things aren't feeling good in your body, working for you, and getting you consistent results. You can stop. Full permission. So just stop doing that. Now, the thing to start doing, and this is going to be your homework, and I want you to drop this in the comments so that you can hold yourself accountable and you actually walk away from this video with clear, like actionable steps, and it's not just listening to me talk. Like, if you actually want to change your life, drop this shit in the comments so that you can see that other people are just like you, struggling with the same things and on the same manifestation journey as you are. Community is an amazing support system when it comes to manifestation, really seeing that other people have the same limiting beliefs as you. They have the same struggles and they've overcame it. It's one of the biggest reasons why I started the Co-Creation Clubhouse, so that people could have those types of supportive role models and actually see what's possible for them. So, step 1. Get really clear on what it is you want and be detailed, and comment it below. Pick 3 things, top 3. What do you want? What are the specifics of that? If you want a house, where do you want that house to be? If you know. What do you want it to look like? Get detailed. And the second thing, I said I would give you 1 thing to start doing, but I'm going to give you 2. The second thing is start finding real life examples. And I'll explain that in a second. Of people who have what you're trying to manifest and inspire you. And drop those below. Real life examples could be like people who are in the type of relationship that you want to be in. They could be people who own the house or have the wealth, or people who drive the car that you want to drive. If finding real life examples are hard, do fictional characters, do people that you've seen on TV, do friends of friends, do make up somebody in your head. But fictional characters are great. Historical figures, that type of thing. If you are looking for role models in general of people who've manifested what you want to manifest, you can go to the process videos on my YouTube. I have, I think, 2 or 3 process videos on exactly how I manifested what maybe you're trying to manifest, and I have long stories of how that came to be, so that could be a role model for you. Like, I could be a role model. But no, it would be my honor if you're trying to manifest the same types of things. That is it for today, guys. If you don't want to do affirmations, if the law of assumption and the law of attraction are confusing for you, you don't have to keep doing it. You can trust your body. You're not crazy. You're just approaching it the wrong way. Bye.